I wanted to spend a little bit of time with a fellow that you know well from previous relationships with Aspen, among others, and wanted to specifically talk about a whole new project for you in an area of aviation that is both controversial, innovative, disruptive, and just plain cool.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Brad, welcome to Aero-TV. So what you doing for a real job these days?
You know, well, a real job. Are we going to talk about what I'm doing, or are we going to talk about a real job?
Let's go to the real stuff.
So
there.
actually what I'm doing is I've started a new company. It's called Robotic Skies. And Robotic Skies is a network of Part 145 repair stations that are optimized to work on and maintain the emerging commercial drone fleet as it starts to fly in our national airspace. So what I'm doing is I'm actually recruiting partner service centers that are going to come and join the network. They're going to be managed via a software application that will actually track the maintenance of a given drone, and we'll be able to do all their billing, be able to flag any kind of maintenance that's required, logbook entries, etc. And then in turn, I sell that service to manufacturers, just like what we see in aviation right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking these Part 145 dealers, in effect, and turning them into drone maintenance dealers.
There you go. Good work if you can get it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's incredibly obvious that, like it or not, it's coming.
It is.
And frankly, it's already here.
Yes.
FAA may not want to admit it, but Judge Garrity has something else to say about that than most folks. It is the very definition of a disruptive technology in more ways than one. Politically, aerodynamically, yep. Resources, you name this, that, whatever. But I don't think anybody can reasonably deny that this is going to be anything but a big part of our lives.
It's true. I mean, you don't get a technology like this that comes into the market and not have it make a huge impact. And to me, when I looked this over for the last few years and gotten to know people within the UAV marketplace, it became obvious to me that the future of flight is really going to be the merger, if you will, of this new drone commercial technology and the existing aviation support infrastructure. So again, putting together Robotic Skies is really leveraging the decades we already have of maintaining manned aircraft and applying that knowledge towards this new disruptive technology. I think it's going to go a long ways towards helping control the potential issues that this new technology may bring, because what we're talking about doing is putting them under a formalized maintenance plan that will assure that the ships are airworthy. Mm-hmm. And if that can be combined with some type of training for the pilots, because that's what they are, they're pilots.
No question.
That we'll be able to actually better integrate them into the airspace, both from a regulatory perspective and from a maintenance and safety perspective.
The FAA would like to see this go away for a year or two while they get things together.
Yep.
The fact of the matter isn't happening.
Yep.
But it seems to me that you're kind of spanning the gap here a bit. You're taking your knowledge of conventional aviation and applying it to this incredibly disruptive technology and trying to bring both together, which sounds like something the FAA should embrace. How is the reception from the Puzzle Palace? Feds like this?
Yeah, I really have not talked to the FAA about this yet. My day job anymore is I've taken over the King's Avionics, which is the family avionics business. Mm-hmm. So I work with the local FSDOs, of course, with our shops, but I haven't talked to anybody in the UAS integration office, for example, about what it is that I'm going to be doing. The company was actually just launched a couple of weeks ago, mm-hmm. formally launched. I talked to you well before I came out onto the market, but I've already got 9 service centers formally signed on. So those are 9 partners that I brought into the fold. And I signed on my first customer last week, ISIS Copter, who makes a custom quad that is actually used in everything from pipeline surveillance down to filming movies. Yeah. But the FAA really hasn't approached me on this yet, and I haven't approached the FAA, mainly because everything that I'm doing up to this point is really working within that existing program that we use now for manned aviation, and kind of looking at it from what's the industry have to say about this? And it looks to me like the market is very excited about it, to the point to where it probably is about time to go talk a little bit about this with the FAA just to get their impressions and find out, how they think something like this should proceed.
The UAV, UAS, however you want to categorize the industries, both from the standpoint of the individual units to the system itself, encompasses some widely divergent technologies. We've got everything from little $500, $1,000, $1,500 drones with amazing capabilities.
Yep.
I mean, tremendously capable machines to multi-$100,000, multi-million-dollar platforms. Are you going to be able to take care of all that?
Absolutely. Really what a maintenance program like we're talking about is really only going to make sense for, first of all, a commercial operation. This isn't a hobby drone thing at all. Also, the airframes have to be of value to where they're worth maintaining. But really, if you think about where this technology is going to be going, it's going to become ubiquitous, just like cell phones and GPS technology became ubiquitous. So people that are going to be flying drones in the future, and I'm talking, if you want to talk about the small stuff, let's say $5,000 to $15,000 rigs, they're going to be flown by people like farmers and photographers and real estate agents and journalists. Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to have the inclination or the knowledge to repair their own systems just like the hobby drone enthusiasts do today. So there's going to be a nice little market in there, I think, for the service centers that I'm putting in place. Granted, they're going to have to change their pricing structure because these won't necessarily be certified aircraft, at least not in the stricted sense. But nonetheless, in our industry, we've been keeping airplanes flying for decades, and that's knowledge that we can apply to this new market. And I think it's one of those things, we're going to make it up in volume, and we may be charging cheaper per hour on, these smaller rigs, but there's going to be a lot of them out there flying. The bigger stuff, forget it. It's going to have an N number. It's going to have, full-on certification. It's going to have a very comprehensive maintenance plan, just like manned aviation does today. Those are no-brainers, and they're going to be flying in and out of our airports. So I think they'll meld right into the fold.
Let me put you on the spot.
Sure.
Here you are, Brad Hayden, sitting here on AeroTV. On the other side of that camera is Michael Huerta. This is your chance to tell the FAA how to deal with the drone issue, how to deal with the UAVs, how to deal with these systems, how to deal with these aircraft. What do you think really needs to happen here?
I think exactly what Robotic Skies is doing is what needs to happen. We need to engage the existing aviation industry to look at this as another flying craft, another influx of pilots coming into our industry, and figure out how we can embrace them. The FAA can work with the industry, the aviation industry, the general aviation industry, to bring this new segment of pilots in. Let's mold them into our programs. Let's get them to fit within what we're currently doing. We've been doing this for a long time. The people that fly drones are going to need to have their own sense of responsibility. If you look at what we teach people in flight training programs, do you really know anybody who's more responsible? No. That is a very serious business, and this is also a serious business. We need for people to understand that putting something up in the airspace that might actually come down and hurt somebody or collide with another aircraft is serious business. But these people just need to be trained. And they need to be brought into this marvelous agenda and infrastructure that we have in aviation that's been developing for years. And I think if Huerta was sitting right here, that's exactly what I would tell him.
Well, Brad, I'll tell you what, you got to have the big boy pants for this one. It's going to be an interesting job, an interesting undertaking.
Yes.
Where can people get more information about what you're doing, and more important, how they can take advantage of being on the leading edge of what you're trying to create in order to provide the organization before the chaos?
Sure. There's a couple of different ways. First of all, I've worked with an existing aviation editor to put together a website called droneport.com. And droneport.com is not so much of a news site as it is just the occasional opinion site that speaks to the integration of aviation and this new emerging drone economy. That would be a great place to start, just to learn some of the lingo. But also they can come to www.roboticskies.com and learn all about what the service network is. I encourage dealers to come there and look into maybe becoming a service center, because I'm recruiting Part 145 stations right now. And also the manufacturers, the drone manufacturers, should go there and learn about what this service center network can do for them and how they can also take the onus to come into this established aviation infrastructure that we already have in place and learn how to participate.
Good deal. Brad, we thank you for your time. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you, Jim.
We've worked with you for a number of years, so there's no question that while you may have a big job ahead of you, you've done a big job in the past. We look forward to working with you, and good luck to you, guy.
Thanks a bunch, Jim. It means
Thanks
a
so
lot
much.
coming from you. I appreciate it.
Aero-TV's coverage of the 57th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Nashville, Tennessee, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. Ultra Electronics Flightline Systems presents the Oracle, offering intelligent power management for single and twin piston engine aircraft, and soon to be available in fixed wing turbine and rotorcraft versions. Visit www.ultra-oracle.com for more information.
Meet SAM, the new 2-inch standby attitude module from Mid-Continent Instruments and Avionics. SAM's unique 2-screen display features high-definition graphics and extra-wide viewing angles. Get to know SAM today. Visit flysam.com.